Okay, let's taste it. Would you like a fork?
No, I'm good. I don't need a fork.
Today, we're gonna show you the secrets to making pork tenderloin that is never dry, never bland, never sad. And I have the genius behind the recipe here to show us how to make it.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you? Thank you for coming. Okay, so first I have to tell you that I do not love pork tenderloin usually.
Okay.
When I tasted yours, and I've tasted it a bunch of times now, it is what makes pork tenderloin as delicious as other pork to me.
So good to hear. Typically in Puerto Rico, we make something called pernil, which is a big pork shoulder. It's marinated overnight. It's roasted for a really long time. It's delicious, but it's super laborious. And I wanted to take that same concept, actually inspired by my mom, who always wanted to lighten things up, and make it a quick weeknight meal.
And it helps that the marinade takes like 5 minutes to put together.
Yeah.
So we can start doing that right now, actually.
This is a wet adobo, so it's the same concept as a shaky adobo, but it's a super simple marinade for literally any meat. It's garlic, some acid, in this case we're using lemon juice, you might use vinegar, salt, oregano, pepper, and olive oil. And it's just the simplest, most delicious seasoning that you could possibly have to marinate meat in. You got some oregano.
Oregano, which I love.
Yeah. Oregano is one of the most common herbs used in Puerto Rican cooking.
I didn't miss anything.
Yeah, you ready. That's an adobo. All right. Needs to be.
Do you want to come check this out? This is our adobo. And all we have to do is pastify it.
So what you want to do, you want to kind of hold that part in your hand, kind of like this.
Oh, like this?
Yeah, and you want to just grind it.
Okay.
Like you're making a paste.
Amazing, okay.
Yeah, imagine yourself like as a kid, just like making mud pies on the beach, like just like really get in there.
Is this what you were thinking?
Mm-hmm, más o menos.
Más o menos? What's the menos?
More or less.
No, oh, I know.
Yeah. Oh, in this.
Sorry, I mean, what's the menos of what I'm doing? Is it too ginger? Am I being too ginger with it?
I think so, yeah. You don't have to be so delicate. You know, these are very resilient things.
Okay.
But when I was a kid, I wanted to get in there and be like, nah, you know, and like garlic and juice would splatter everywhere. And my grandmother let me do that a few times, and I was like, that's not how it works.
Okay,
Beautiful.
I think it's pretty pasty,
Yeah, it looks great.
but now I want to see how you do it though,
Okay.
just so I can know for the future.
Yeah, this is what my...
Oh, you're moving it at the same time.
A little bit.
I like
I
that.
didn't realize that I did that. This is an adaptation of a pernil recipe. And at least the way my family always made pernil, this is a critical component of it. I'm gonna stab it with a bunch of holes that are just big enough for my finger to fit through, and then actually like get as much herb in there as possible.
Yeah.
So sort of like take it like that. And there's something about holding it in your hand that gives you a sense of like the texture and the consistency, so you can see what it needs. Sometimes if I get to this stage and feel like it's too wet, I'll add a little bit more salt, I add a little bit more dry ingredient. And so, yeah. So you see how these holes are like just about the size of my finger. They can be the size of your pinky. And then you just kind of like go over the whole meat. You're kind of just massaging it. And you kind of naturally find the holes that you just created.
So all of our work is done. This is when the pork and the marinade go do its work.
It's just the easiest thing ever.
So this is the one that we've already been marinating for a couple hours.
Beautiful.
Yes, we're gonna
Looks
have
great.
so much pork.
That's not a bad thing.
It's gonna be fantastic. So we're gonna just pop it in a really hot oven, 400 degrees, for about half an hour, flipping every 10 minutes.
Yep.
This space looks so tidy.
How did that happen?
How did that even
It's magic.
happen?
Yeah, I
Elves.
love it. Exactly.
Okay, oh wait, I need to set a timer.
So this is my book, Coconuts and Collards. It is my first cookbook. And the recipe that we just made is like so many other recipes in this cookbook, inspired in large part by this very classic Puerto Rican cookbook, Cocina Criolla. And I wanted to, again, take a really laborious, super classic Puerto Rican recipe and turn it into something you could make on a weeknight. First time I ever had pork tenderloin was one that my mom made in a very similar style. My mom, again, was a single mom, and she had all kinds of really brilliant workarounds for her cooking. I made this recipe like as an homage to her. Ooh, look at that.
It smells so freaking good.
Yum.
Oh,
It's so cool to see other people cook my food.
Yeah? Okay, the sauce.
Yeah. It's basically the same concept as, you know, adding something to the bottom of a saute pan or something that you've been, you know, slowly cooking something in. Add a little bit of acid, sometimes some broth to get all of this yum.
All the
yum.
sticky bits.
Yeah, because otherwise, what a waste, right?
Yeah.
All that deliciousness, all this like caramelized joy and, you know, little bits of pork juice. You know, sometimes, I mean, I don't think I'm saying anything revolutionary here. Sometimes the sauce is even better than the meat. One of the things I really love about this recipe is that this is really simple, right? But it's so easy to make this a little bit fancier, a little bit, a little spicier if you have the time. You know, as I mentioned, you can add smoked paprika to the adobo and give it a little, that smoky kick, a little bit more southern. You could turn this very simple sauce into a béarnaise sauce if you have the time. You could add some white wine and, you know, throw in a little bit of Dijon and turn it into something very French. But there's just so many different ways to adapt something that's like a really nice foundation for a meat dish.
This is a really nice foundation, and as good as all of those sound, I don't even know if I would ever want to do that, because it's
Sometimes
just,
the simplest thing is the best.
it's so good.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Oh, that's good.
Seriously, I would not change this one bit. So if you want more of Vaughn's recipes, be sure to pick up a copy of her.
One more time.
Pick up a copy of Coconuts and Collards and check out the recipe on Food 52.
Yeah, and if you have comments, anything you want to talk to me about, questions, feel free to leave me a message on the website.
And if you want more genius recipes like this one, be sure to like and subscribe, and you'll see recipes like this every week.